till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon, turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And
sleep till I come home, dream of something sweet. I will be there soon to wake you so discreet.
Tre.
Hello everybody and get some booms in the chat for the walkthrough of the Textguides. You can't see RJ, but he's here. Can we hear you?
Hello!
Yeah, we had some problems with Skype. I don't know, but we couldn't talk over Skype. He couldn't hear me, but apparently we could talk over Messenger. So we cannot go with camera for RJ this evening, but he is actually here. So we are both very happy to be here. I haven't streamed since, holy cow, I think it was Tuesday. I don't know. I don't know. But RJ, you haven't streamed for a while, right?
Yeah, I made a video. You know, I ended up getting vertigo, and that sent me back a little bit. So I was in the hospital, embarrassingly, because I couldn't get out of bed. I was so dizzy, so I was way behind. I couldn't look at a computer screen for a few days, and you know, I'm fine. Anyone who knows what vertigo is, it's definitely a harmless thing. It's just kind of a scary thing, and then so that set me back. But I'm glad it happened on an off week and not a tournament week.
Holy cow! I didn't even know that. So you're okay today, right?
Yeah, I'm fine today, and I really appreciate the kindness that you just said about, you know, the messenger. But Tommy, we could tell him the truth. I just didn't have time to get my makeup on. So
yeah, okay, we can leave it at that. You know, that's as equally weird as blue is purple for you. We're not gonna go into that. We all know that I won. So you know, everyone that is watching in chat, this is live, so it's not a video. We will be interacting with you in chat as well, but this is a little bit special. So don't take it personal if we do not answer your questions. We are going to go over the Textguides for the Coastal Classic Tournament. We're going to go over from hole 1 to hole 9, and we're going to do it in the structure like follows. And if there come new people in there, please help them so they don't feel, you know, sad about we might not answer their comment at that time. It is like this. We're gonna take hole number 1. We're gonna go over hole number 1. RJ is going to cover rookie as normal. I'm going to take pro, expert, and master. And then after that, we're gonna open up for questions. We're gonna take 5 questions, if there is 5 questions, and answer that. We do appreciate if there would be questions about the hole itself, or especially about the tournament. Then we're gonna take hole number 2, and then we're gonna do the same structure. We need to think about that some people want to watch this as a video afterwards. So once again, don't take personal if we don't answer your questions. You know, Daffy Duck with 9 months and counting. Yes, thank you so thank you so much for resubbing, bro. Appreciate that big time, and I appreciate all the love for RJ in chat. And we're glad to, yeah, once again, buddy, I'm glad to hear that you are okay. Before we go and start with hole number 1, please don't forget to subscribe to both our channels. I'm running very close to 50k. Hopefully we can be there soon enough. And also go over to ItsRJTV, hit that sub button as well, be a subscriber. Also, website golfclashtommy.com. Please take a look at the recent video where I go over the updates, or read it on Facebook. The thing that we did, which is a big thing, is that we changed the hole order on Vineyard Acres, Southern Pines, Glen Monarch Estate, and Greenock Point. And if you're looking at just take as an example, if you look at Notebook and compare to my website, there's gonna be a difference. And that is because we have been going over and playing the holes on the specific tours to get the correct hole order. Because unfortunately it's wrong on Notebook, to some level, and I hope they will obviously change that soon enough. So yeah, I think, are you ready really? Should we just jump right in it or something?
absolutely. I just really quick before I get started, I just wanted to say I do have the comments up on my screen. I can't address everyone because, like Tommy said, I would be saying hello to each individual person and the rewatchability wouldn't be that great. But I see you guys. Thank you so much for the kind words and the hellos. Hello to all of you. And I totally agree with Tommy. If we don't get to your question, it's definitely nothing personal. It's just trying to keep the flow going.
Yes. So we jump all over, or not all over, we're gonna jump to hole number 1, par 5, 494 yards. A classic, I would say, because this has been in the game for a long time. So RJ, how do we play hole number 1?
This is one I actually like a lot, and this is probably one of our best albatross opportunities because there's not many drops that I foresee. Of course, we don't see the wind or anything yet, but on this particular hole, remember 10% on your drive. We're going to be going with an extra mile. No spin is needed in order to make sure that you don't end up going into the rough, which seems to be the biggest mistake. If you go too far, you want to stop right where that second black box is. I chose the Navigator because spin isn't all that important, so why not knock down the wind a little bit more? There might be a little spin needed if we do face a headwind in rookie, but it won't be more than 1 or 2. And then also we're going over a body of water, so remember your 10% on your second shot, and I have either a sniper or a Viper to pin. And just remember, this is a very straightforward shot. Your second shot is a very straightforward shot. So if there's a wind blowing to the right, aim just a tad bit to the left of the pin to make sure that you're compensating for the wind effect. Or if we have a tailwind, make sure your ball guide stops a little short if you have an excellent ball guide, so on and so forth. Tommy's talked about this before because this is an excellent opportunity for an albatross.
Yes, and I agree with that. You know, if we compare that to the other 2 par 5s that we're having, you know, this one is going to be the absolute best one to bring home an albatross on. And it's also good that we have it on hole number 1. Not for me, though, because I never get warmed up when we get to hole number 1. I'm normally warmed up to hole number 3, something like that. But for pro and expert, we're going to generally follow the black line. We're going to bounce over the rough, and we're going to use somewhere, you know, a power 2, power 3 ball, depending on what you want to spend. Sure, you can play with a power 0, power 1 ball, but then you most likely will need a little bit of overpower if you're not having a straight tailwind. 10% extra for the drive, and then the second shot's gonna be the same as RJ described. We're gonna play with a sniper, and we are here going to play with a 10% extra as well, trying to aim at a spot that gives you, you know, a consistent bounce. With that I mean, you know, there is a bumpy area there, but it's also a couple of flat spots where we're going to try to aim, just because we're going to want to bring ourselves some sort of consistency when approaching to the pins, so we can dial it in. I do believe strongly that this one is going to be a good one for me in the updated text guides. When it comes to otherwise having tailwind on this one, you can play, and here I would suggest you to play, if so, with a higher level Apocalypse, higher level Thor's Hammer, or maybe an extra mile level 8, trying to play with a power, I think it's a power slice when we go left to right, a power slice following the white line, trying to bounce directly over the rough and roll as far as possible. A very tough one to replicate and do well, but there is a possibility to do so in tailwind. When it comes to Master T, here we are going to be dependent on the wind. Straight headwind, or I would say like more headwind than crosswind, then we cannot follow the black line. We will not be able to reach over there if we're not using like a, yeah, you know, some of the balls that we haven't had much, like what is that called? A ball with 404, like 4 wind resistance, power 4, 0 side spin. I don't remember what it's called now just because of that. But in the end, generally we cannot follow the black line if we do have headwind. Then we will have to follow the white line. But then we follow it in the way that we're just gonna lay up. We're not gonna try to bounce over. So we're gonna use a lot of curl to the right and try to give ourselves like 4 to 6 bars of topspin, trying to get ourselves down there to the right. And then of course from the right there, 10% extra. But if we do have tailwind, we are going to play according to the black line, because the second shot from there is gonna give us a much better chance for getting the ball in the hole. So yeah, that was hole number 1. Is there anyone that we're gonna see? I see a lot of people talking about having maybe an Apocalypse level 10 or a Sniper 20. That would be nice, RJ, right? What?
Yeah, I wouldn't want to play against them, but it'd be nice to have it.
Where's RJ where are you, RJ? Are you
I
hiding
am in
deliberately?
I am in Cleveland, Ohio. Me and Tommy are having technical problems. There seems to be this black billboard shaped thing covering up my video because I did not have enough time to put my makeup on.
No, but for real, we are having Skype problems. With the we couldn't get the audio connect there, so we had to use Messenger. That's what it is. Daffy, you will ball. You're the man. Thank you so much. So, Marco Chesa, I'm fine. I hope you're doing fine as well. Thank you so much. Yeah, then we're just gonna jump over to hole number 2, RJ. Let's get it going. Hole number 2. Par 4, 486 yards. I believe this is gonna be, I like this hole, but I'm gonna come to that later. So how do we play hole number 4? Hole number 2.
Yes, it almost seems like the first few holes are the holes that they're giving us. Well, the first two, I should say, are the holes that they're giving us an opportunity for either the albatross or the eagle, basically the long wood drop. I look to the left. I'm taking the black line. You see we're going over a body of water, so automatically that's plus 10% with the elevation. And I would bring a quarterback here because we're not going to need all the power or all the distance of the extra mile. So we might as well use a club that's got 100 accuracy and an excellent ball guide. I would couple the quarterback with a quasar and go with, usually in most cases, about 2 top spin. That may be tinkered with at 3 in the morning Eastern time when Tommy comes on and does all the different divisions. I highly recommend you catch the rerun if you're asleep when that happens. But yeah, two top spin is just the general neutral wind, and full right spin as well. Once again, just keep the same wood that you had in your last one in your bag here. A sniper or a viper, you're only gonna, I would go with 2 top spin simply because, I'm sorry, 2 back spin, yikes. 2 backspin simply to keep the ball under control. I feel like 2 backspin is like that perfect number to get the ball to stop where you want it to stop, especially with the sniper, just because that ball guide is like, it almost feels like a cheat code. On your second shot, 10% as well.
Yes, pro and expert, if we start with that, and we're going to follow the black line here for pro and expert, and that is because for the second shot, we're going to have a very decent chance getting that ball in the hole for an eagle. 10% extra for the drive, we're going to use the quarterback if we do have a crosswind, tailwind, or like crosswind or some sort of tailwind. Then we're going to play with the quarterback using a ball with side spin to minimum. The reason I say that is because we do want to get the side spin for the second shot, and then we're gonna be able to take ourselves away from all the obstacles that we do have on the right side. We bounce over using 1 to 3 bars of topspin to get to the second black marker. From there we do have a sniper, and here we do need both a little bit of distance, and we also need side spin here. So I would say the perfect ball here would be Katana or the Kingmaker. Those 2 balls would be the ones that I would mixture with. I would say Katana more for pro, Kingmaker more for expert, to give ourselves the distance combined with the side spin there. We bounce over the out there left part of the bunker and then get up towards the pin there. 10%, as I said, for the drive, 10% for the second shot. Then we do have master. If we do have any form of tailwind, we play according to the black line. If we do have a headwind in some form, we cannot play according to the black line. We won't have the distance enough. Then we need to follow the white line. Then we're gonna go full blast, trying to gain as much distance as possible on the right side. Still playing with the same type of elevation. 10% for the drive, 10% for the second shot. And here, if that would happen, I would suggest to play with a power 4 ball, especially if we do have headwind. So we do actually have some questions here. Is it true that on rookie it's normally a tailwind in the tournament? What do you think there, RJ?
I honestly don't know what the statistics are throughout all the different tournaments. I believe you do get a more favorable wind because rookie, as it should be, it is generally easier, but it's not always tailwind. I think that where you need tailwind, you'll have it because they know you have lower level clubs. Rookie is not easy for the true rookies because you have lower level clubs. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Yes, what about Tailwind and the Middle Island? And this one I can actually answer, Archer, because this is actually has been a question that has come up every time we've had this hole. I think this is the third or the fourth time this hole is in a tournament. The reason that's not suggested is that it's not as easy as it looks. Even though we could with Tailwind bounce on that fairway over and be very close to the green. We cannot get to the green though, but we can be close to the green. But it's going to be such a hard drive to get a consistency on, and you actually risk the water more than you think. The fairway that we first would bounce on has like this kind of oval type of top. So you do have the side sloping a little bit to the left on the left side, a little bit to the right on the right side. And you know, if you're just a little bit off, then that's gonna be a problem. You also need to go with overpower, and that's risky in itself. So we cannot get the ball to green no matter what type of wind you're having, trying to bounce on that island, trying to get close to the green. And I would say it's too much of a risk for the reward it might get. That's just my personal opinion about that. So I feel being able to play a consistent drive over to the left and then play a consistent second shot, always giving you an opportunity, is in the long run going to be better. But sure, if you feel that you want to gamble a little bit, you know, I'm not gonna be talking you away from that. Then you decide yourself. But that's why I'm not having that as a suggestion.
Would you mind if I chimed in on that?
Yeah,
real quick?
absolutely.
I just wanted to say, if you look at the black line and the white line, both that are approaching the pin, both of them you actually have a shot to sink it from that distance. While it is true, you know, like Tommy said, with a tailwind and maybe a power 5 ball or something, you can use that middle island. The reason why the risk is not worth the reward is because you can still chip in for eagle if you take the white line or the black line because of where that sand is. There's not obstacles in the way. If there were obstacles there, then that might shift the risk reward into attempting the center shot.
Yes. Can you make the gap in the center with the big topper and power 5 ball? You know, from rookie you can, but I would say that's gonna be a no for pro, expert, and master. You might gonna be able to reach with a straight tailwind and expert, but trying to play with max overpower with a big topper, hitting great, and you're gone. Question for Tommy: in case of mega tailwind, what's the elevation for middle island? I would play that one as the same as the other drives, 10% extra for that one as well. Jason, hey bro. Why are expert and master level players allowed to play rookie division tournaments? Yeah, what should we answer to that, honestly?
Well, you never really know their situation. There's people out there who play an awful lot of games and maybe they just don't grasp the wind, or they don't grasp this or that. Now, obviously, there are some people out there sandbagging so they can get as many gold trophies as possible. But the problem is, if you eliminate one, you got to eliminate them all. And there are some people out there, unfortunately, who suffer from certain handicaps, and you know, they may just be able to play rookie. I like that it's available to each and every one. And when I was a true rookie, I was very competitive. So I kind of like the way it is. You know, maybe you'll get lucky and go up against someone with that Apocalypse level 10 we were talking about earlier, and you'll get a free eagle.
Yeah, it's honestly a topic that I think there is never going to be a perfect solution for. So I do feel the same as you, RJ. There, like for those people that shouldn't be playing rookie, like it hurts me to see those people playing there getting banners over those that, you know, yeah, that they obviously are better players at. But then of course you cannot, just because you are a master weekly league player doesn't mean that you're a, you know, don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that you are a master division or an expert division or a pro division player. You might skill wise are still a rookie division player, but you maybe play an awful lot of games. So it's what can I say? I think that's gonna be a hard nut to crack, as we say. I don't know if it says that around the world, but we say that in Sweden.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we say that.
so, but it's an interesting topic. But yeah, don't get us wrong. Both of us, if we have a player that shouldn't be playing a rookie, it's not that we are sharing for that player winning,
No, not at all, not at all.
winning. So, but yeah, we gonna go to hole number 3, and wow, you know. I hate this hole so much. It's just crazy. So, RJ, I'm gonna let you go first, as always. How do we hole in one this hole?
Well,
No,
hole
I'm
in
sorry, but
one,
yeah.
yeah. You get very lucky and buy yourself a scratch-off ticket if you do that day. Honestly, I always played it with the black line, and my heart was up in my throat until I watched Tommy's video on the rookie playthrough, because I get all my elevation numbers from him. And I also get ideas like on this particular one, and I saw him using a low-level Guardian with a Quasar. Now, it's not marked on the map, but down, if you look at that second black box that's literally on the green and going to the fairway, I'm sorry, on the fairway and going to the green, your landing position is just south of that, kind of closer to the rough, where the bottom kind of loops out like that. Just imagine if your driver couldn't go that far. That's your landing position with the Guardian. So from there, from the first tee only, so if you're in pro or higher, don't listen to this. Rookies, we only have to adjust 30%, which 30% is still a lot. However, it's a lot less than 50, almost half of it. So if we go with a Guardian and a Quasar, put full left spin, you're going to want about 6 backspin, not too much, because we are going to have to roll forward a little bit, but we definitely do want a lot of backspin. And again, like I said, land on the fairway that has the pin on it, which is the lowest fairway. And also I would add about half a ball of left curl, and that should get you within a putting distance. And you're going to see a lot of people who didn't watch this video end up in the sand or the rough, and this is an excellent spot to get a birdie when others are getting pars.
Yes, and then I'm gonna jump in and take Pro, Expert, and Master. And you know, the reason I dislike this hole is because it's very tough to get the consistency on, and it gets, you know, if you push it too hard, you're gonna risk getting just the birdie. And that's, you know, that's in itself is going to be a very hard thing to go into when it comes to the mental aspect. When it comes to Pro and Expert, in crosswind in some form, we are going to play the rough bump if we gonna if we are going to what can I say, trying to get the ball as close to the hole as possible. The rough bump is going to be there. It's still gonna be tough, and we're gonna have to play it 50% extra, and then we're gonna play the rough bump there and using the quarterback or the rock, as it gives us the best accuracy, it gives us the best ball guideline. But I would say try to hit the ball perfect, otherwise we don't really know what we are gonna, where we're gonna go, honestly. When it comes to a master, 50% extra, then we're going to play according to the black line. Sure, there is a rough bump with an Apocalypse or a Thor's Hammer where you do have club in a decent level, but I would say that to be able to play the rough bump there with a good success, we do need to play with a wind ball, like a wind 5 ball. But the problem with wind 5 ball is that we are not having power 3, and then I'm not really sure that we will be able to reach for the rough bump with certain type of wind. So then we're gonna bounce on, according to the black line, using side spin to the left and some curl to the left, and going to play it as aggressively as we do have the guts to do. then gonna get it, at least we're gonna play this one as a birdie hole, not really for an hole in one hole. So 50% extra for the tee shot here. And just to add that for Pro and Expert as well, if we do have a straight tailwind or a straight headwind, I would rather see us playing according to the black line, as I just explained in Master as well. So now we're gonna see here Let's see if we do have a question about this whole.
You know, after you find one or two, is it okay if I ask you one or
Yeah,
two questions?
absolutely.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, we can just. What about the top level island elevation? Still 50%. Don't play on the top level island, Archer. That's just. I played this one so many times that island is a no go, an absolute no go. So I hope, not hope, but if you mean that the top level island is the one to the left of the two ones, like the one where it hasn't a marker, never play on that one. Never. Mhm. Okay, so now RJ, okay, we don't have any more questions here.
Okay.
So
Real quick, I just wanted to ask you if you thought, because I play an expert, I was wondering, is there a shot, like I mentioned for rookies, in case the rough bump is too dangerous, where where you could still land on that bottom pad?
I would say, you know, like I would say the best way to go if you want to play it just for the birdie, you don't have the backspin for rookie, you don't want to risk the rough bump, then I would say to play according to the black line, just bouncing yourself over, playing a very conservative line, just straightforward, letting the ball stop before the rough. You either have a putt or a decent long putt, or you will have a wedge towards the pin.
Okay, and that brings me up to, I guess, which would be my second or follow-up question. Doesn't the ball guide lie because of the elevation difference between the first bounce and the landing position on the lowest fairway?
Yeah, it does lie. It does depend on what type of wind you're having. Like, if let's say, yeah, and kind of what can I say? Basically, whatever wind you're going to have. So yeah, it does lie. That's kind of the question. Tailwind, the ball guideline is going to, yeah, the second bounce is going to be further ahead. Headwind is going to be further back. And when it's so much downhill as it is, that effect is going to be much bigger than it normally is. So you'll have to, like, for an example, in Master, in Tailwind, we play this hole with 5 to 6 bars of backspin. And in Headwind, we play with 0 to 2 bars of backspin. And it's very easy to go short even then. So that's it's a very big difference when would you have, and that's why this hole is so tough, you know, the elevation adjustment here. If it would be just a 0%, 10%, it wouldn't be that hard to get a birdie
Right,
here.
right.
Funny,
Thank you.
Fun and James. Hey, buddy.
James!
Hey, so we are gonna not run, but we're gonna walk towards hole number 4, and here it's gonna hopefully be a little bit more fun. Good opportunity in my opinion. So RJ, here, how do we play hole number 4?
Oh, speak for yourself, man. Hole number 3 gives me nightmares. I'm running. Hole number 4, 10% elevation, quarterback layup. I actually had extra mile going over with the black line to the left. However, just too many times have I misjudged it a little, and I go up the little, because the fairway kind of, I don't know, slopes down. But unfortunately, I've went up and over into the rough. So for me, in rookie, I would like to just use the quarterback, lay up, get as close to the rough as comfortable. You don't have to get ridiculously close, and then bring your backbone. And once again, I'm putting in that 2 backspin just to have the best control over getting the ball to stop where I want to stop it. And here, our second shot is going to have a plus 15% elevation.
Yes, and for me, you know, the way that RJ explained is basically going to be the same for Pro Expert and Master if we do have a headwind. I can just take that directly. We lay up, then we approach the pin from distance. And we can either do that playing on the right side if you feel more comfortable by following the black line on the right side, or you follow the black line on the left side to just lay up. But the most interesting part here is if we do have some sort of tailwind. Like it can just be a minor tailwind, then we're still gonna try to get the ball very close to the green for an easy eagle. And the thing here is that when you're playing pro and expert, I would suggest that you play with a lower level apocalypse. It could be all the way down to a level 1, because the thing that we are looking for here is the curl. And playing that one together with a power 1, 2 or 3 ball, depending on obviously the strength and the wind angle, but that should be your first focus. If we do not have a lower level apocalypse, I would suggest you to go over to the quarterback to either go with a full curl shot or play with a power hook. And depending on, once again, the wind angle, it's gonna decide what way I'm going to try to approach this hole. It might be that I go into playing a power hook with the quarterback. It might be that we can just leave it with a lower level apocalypse, or I'm gonna show you both. So we will see what's gonna happen. In Master, I would suggest that you play with a normal curled shot, because if you're playing in Master and not having an apocalypse, I think it's not really the time for you to play in Master. So even with a lower level apocalypse with some tailwind in Master will be a possibility for you to get that ball to the green. And the normal spin adjustment is 3 to 4 bars of topspin to get it over there. Using more will likely get you into the rough on the top or into the sand. If you're using less, you're most likely gonna go short. But once again, if we do get tailwind here, it's gonna be a must eagle. 10% for the drive, nothing for the second shot. Sorry, not nothing, that's wrong in the guide. It should be 15%, my bad. 15% when you approach the pin for the second shot. Scratch that out on the 0, it's gonna be a 15. Sure, it's not the biggest difference in the world, but it's still a difference. So glad I spotted that already. I will have to change that later. So I'm gonna scroll up now, RJ, and see. First, we're gonna see Blake Mayer. Thank you so much for the 2 books. Give Blake some boom and some love in the chat. Awesome. Thanks, buddy. Also, Scott Knox with the 210 bits. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, bro. Give Scott some boom and some love in chat. Appreciate it, buddy. Okay, we're gonna scroll up here. I saw a question here before. We'll see that. Has anyone tried the left edge ever? I don't know, Fred. I think Freddy is talking about hole number 3, to be honest, and I would say no to. Maybe someone has tried, but not with that much success. Tommy, what difference does elevation make? Luke, the difference that elevation makes is like, let's pretend the hole doesn't have any extra elevation, or you will have to take away any adjustment or something like that. Then it's gonna be, you know, then if you're adjusting according to the ring system, the ball is going to land where you aimed. You know, pretty simple. But if we do have like elevation, like a 10% extra, 20% extra, or 30% extra, then we need to add that to be able to get the ball to hit the intended first bounce. Then what happens after the first bounce, that's a different story. Then we can adjust that for that in different ways. But the elevation is important to adjust for, because you do want the ball to bounce where you intend to get the ball to land for the first bounce. There was some question about, I don't know if you saw that, RJ, but I think there was a question about, I think that was about elevation or something like that. We're gonna see if I fix that the next time.
I did see a question about elevation, and I would just point them to one of your newest videos. You just did a video on elevation that explained it very good. It's I don't think it's about a 15-minute video, maybe 20, definitely worth the time.
Yeah, okay, Drew says quarterback in pro without an apoc. Yeah, it would be my first choice, Drew. There is a way to play with the big topper here as well, but I think the quarterback will be the one to go to the first way, first after the apoc. I know it's not good ID, but is Roxin playing in the middle of between 2 islands? Can I get some lucky bounce? a simple no, buddy. It's gonna be like, no, don't try it, please. The rocks are in play, but it's not that you're gonna see any success with that. We're gonna see what extra on hole 3. I missed it. RJ, do you remember for the 3 divisions?
What was the question? Something I didn't.
Elevation on hole 3.
Elevation of hole 3 was 30% for rookie, 50% for pro, expert, and masters.
Boom! There we go. So, do we have a vinyl trap? Thank you so much. The feedback about the website. Appreciate that. If you haven't checked it out yet, do it. You know, there you can find all the elevation adjustment actually underneath the video. There. Make sure that you're not, if you're gonna use those elevation adjustment, make sure you're not using the wind directional tool or wind adjustment tool if you're using the notebook app. Very important, as then it's gonna be messed up. You will have to use that type of elevation. And you know, it's everything with the elevation is kind of interesting with that, because you can actually use a different elevation for the same type of shot. More in that in my elevation video. Check that out. Oh my god, that was a long sentence without any pause, I thought. But, oh my god, now stuff is happening here. Greg Hood, been a member for 3 months in a row. Cheers, buddy. Thank you so much. And then we do thank for doing this, guys. Lots of help from Recap Dan, resubbing with Twitch Prime for 6 months in a row. Thank you so much. Awesome. I love to see you in chat as well, RJ, doing the multitasking. The thing.
I love your Homer.
the thing that man cannot handle, to do 2 things at the same time. At least that's what the women thinks. But
no, it's true. If I was on video, I wouldn't be able to do this. But at least now I can. Yeah.
I guess, you know, at least 75% of the watchers here is wondering what, like if you have been undressing yourself or whatever, something like that. At least I'm the one of those 75%. So
I am. I'm not. I am not ashamed.
Will a regular curl shot work for hole 4? We need to power hook. Jason, regular curl shot will be my first suggestion. I think it's unnecessary to go for the hook if you can go with the curl. But if the wind is gonna be in the way, or the clubs is going to put us in a position where we do the best option for a consistent play on 4 is going to be the hook, then we're going to go the hook. But we'll see what wind it is, because that's going to decide everything. So now we're going to go to hole number 5, par 3. And this one, it was a long time ago we played this one, to be honest. How do we play hole number 5?
Oh, hole number 5 is possibly the easiest par 3. And to be able to say that, it's not a good thing, because this is not an easy hole to get the hole in one and dial in. But you should be able to keep it on the green. If we use the white line, I think that's the safest and best way to go. For us lower level club users and rookie, you'd probably want to go with a Goliath. You're going to need a long iron with at least 1 ball of curl and a bare minimum of a quasar. If you have a katana to spare, I highly recommend using that, as we're going to be using full left spin, and you can't use too much left spin, you know, with a katana on this particular hole. 1 ball left curl as well, and 1 back spin. 10% on this when you set up, so be careful. And remember, you're also using the curl, so that could impact where you're landing, especially if you hit great. So make sure to great proof this shot. And if you get lucky, it'll drop. If not, you should have a nice, easy putt. Don't forget the 1 backspin, though, because otherwise you could end up where you see where that white line goes on the fairway. A lot of times it just keeps going straight instead of curling without the backspin.
Yes, and that's, I would say, it would be the conservative route if you play in Pro Expert and in Master. Here, once again, the wind is going to decide which way we're going to play. So, in this case, when we're playing Pro and Expert, we're going to use, you know, if the wind, sorry, I started that way. If the wind is right to left, straight tailwind, or it's going to be straight headwind, we're going to play according to the rough bump. and we're going to use the black line there, 10% extra, and we're going to use all from 0 to 2 bars of backspin depending on the wind, and we're going to use somewhere between 4 to 6 bars of side spin to the left. If you do have a left to right wind, the freaking tree that we cannot really see that clear on the picture, see if I can zoom in, think if you can see the tree there, that is just on the right side of the tiny little island, then that tree is gonna be in play, and that your ball will hit the tree. Unfortunately, that has happened to me, yeah, tons of time. I'm not gonna lie about that. It has happened a lot. If we do have a headwind, so like let's say like this, we have a left to right wind, or we have a wind when we do not feel confident enough to play the rough bump, then we play according to the white line. We curl the ball over towards the green using 1 to 3 bars of backspin depending on, once again, the wind angle and the strength. There is a way to use the tiny little island on the left of the tree. It's not recommended because that island is not consistent. Believe me, or like, trust me on that. I have been trying that one many times, and often a great shot there is equal with a second shot from the rough or a second shot from the sand. We're gonna scroll up here and see, Tommy, there's a difference in elevation on your site between the printed elevation underneath the hole and what you play in the video. Which is correct? You are going to follow what is said in the video, Mike, because those are recently done, and I'm actually, just because you stated that now, I'm definitely going to rewatch my videos there and make sure that the elevation underneath the holes are correct, and that's gonna be done after the stream. So after the stream, within the 30 minutes after, then that's gonna be changed completely. Thank you so much for spotting that out. I appreciate that. Question. Do we have anything? You can play the rough bump on the left side of the tree. Yeah, thank you for adding that, Drew. It wasn't mean to be patronizing with it, yeah, but it's like, I don't play the rough bump on the left side of the tree that much, but always on the right side, any wind. Okay, thank you for doing that. Where do I find the text guide on his website? Go into the website, Luke, and press like you can see on the tournament page where you can click on the link to Imgur, then you will get there. And what about rough bump on hole 5? Yeah, we already talked about that. Sorry. RJ, are your dog on vacation?
No, as a matter of fact, if you look a little bit further down, the dog must have somehow picked up the frequency that he typed that and barked.
Okay. I didn't know. I just saw the question in chat here. And we'll see. I play rough bump always on the right side in any wind. Scott, then you must not have had some of the strong crosswind left to right, because I can promise you there that, you know, that's gonna hit the tree if you're aiming at the spot that I intend that ball to land. Sure, if you're using the lower part of the rough more to the right, that might be a different story. But yeah. What about topspin bunker shot? What do we think about that, RJ? Do we think that's a line? What do you think?
A sand bump? You know, the sand bump usually depends on how deep the sand is in comparison to the green or the rough above it. Honestly, that's your territory, buddy. I don't really mess with. I think I've done a sand bump on purpose once.
Yeah, I would say that there is a sand bump, but it depends on the wind. You know, I think that if the wind is going to be in a way where we can do the rough bump, then we do the rough bump. We rather going to play a rough bump than we're gonna do a sand bump. I'm not entirely sure how the lower part of the sand will work, if that's still gonna kick you up to the fringe or not. So I can't really speak about that. I just moved more right with left to right wind. Yeah, that's a way to do, Scott. But in the end, it's all about to find a consistent landing position here. When we talk about when I do suggest, I don't really want to go in like if the wind is gonna be like that, and I find a different rough bump, then I will rephrase my way here. But as a general consensus, when you are going to talk about this type of hole, left to right crosswind with a rough bump is a no-go in my book, at least. What wind adjustment do you make on that rough bump on the left of the trees? I would definitely use it on occasion. It's a 10% extra for that one as well, Aaron. That's not gonna change. The 10% is for all type of shots here. No matter if you play the long iron on the white line, or you're gonna play the sniper on the rough there. I will also have to add now in the end, like a wind 5 ball would be very, very good here. Like reduce the wind, makes the rough bump a little bit easier.
Yeah, this is definitely a win 5 ball course. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No worries. I was just to send a question to you. How much elevation for the rough bump in rookie?
It's the same all the way across the board, 10%.
Nice. And we're gonna go to hole number 6, long par 5. Pretty boring hole. What do you think, RJ, of this one?
Yeah, you know, boring is a tough word for those of us who aren't quite as good. There's just something so satisfying about getting that that double bounce with the black lines over there on the left-hand side. Extra mile and a Titan will make that available to you. You're looking at plus 10% on that drive. Full top spin, full left spin, and then, you know, your ball guide should show you, regardless of what level extra mile you have, that your third bounce will make it over. It is technically an albatross opportunity, but for us in rookie even, we're going to be using the big dog, and the big dog isn't the most accurate club, and it doesn't have the best ball guide. So there's a nice line there, but it's a really hard shot. Your second shot is going to be about 2%, not 2%, 2 top spin or more if there is a headwind, and there's also a 20% adjustment on your big dog shot.
Yes. Hole no, I was like hole number 6, but yeah, we are on hole number 6. Double bounce on the left side here, and here is very important when you're playing pro and expert and in master. Use having like a stronger wind, then you will have to really think about the compressed and extended ball guideline. Let's say like this: you do have a straight tailwind, and you're aiming for the first bounce at the first black mark, and then you have the second bounce on the second black mark, and then the third to go over to the final part. There you need to make sure that you back up a little bit, making the second bounce being around 2 rings away from the rough with the second bounce. The reason we do that is because we in tailwind get an extended ball guideline and need to compensate for that. If we do have a headwind, we need to go the other direction. We need to basically have the second bounce being in the rough, and to make sure that we compensate for the compressed ball guideline. If there is a crosswind, we don't need to do that, because then we're gonna get the same distance as the ball guideline is showing. So that is a reason why many players is getting that ball to either get stuck in the rough or not really getting the bounce that they wanted to. The drive for pro and expert is gonna be on the left there every single time. If you're not having an absolute straight headwind, I would say in expert, then we will have to move to the right. And in master, we do need to have at least crosswind to be able to play on the left side. Otherwise, we're going to play on the right side there as well. Second shot from the left, 20% extra. Use the sniper if you have it in at least level 9. For second tee and 30, you could be surviving with a level 8 and stuff like that. Play with a power 3 ball, super important, because you do need the distance for the second shot especially, but could be helpful for the drive as well. If you are pushed to play on the right side, still gonna be the same type of elevation, 10% extra for the drive, 20% for the second shot, but playing on the right is more or less going to be a play where you secure the eagle, but you're not gonna give yourself any chance really for an albatross, in my opinion. So yeah, there we do have hole number 6, and we do have one question. When are you streaming tomorrow, Tommy? Just asking for a friend. I need all the help I can get. My clan is in relegation zone. Sorry to hear that, Neil. I hope you guys turn it around. We are not we, but I'm going to stream at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 9 a.m. Central European Time, 8 a.m. UK time. I'll say it like that. I don't know what it's called, if it's called BST time or something like that. It's exactly when the tournament starts. I'm gonna go live and I play all the divisions. I do that every tournament, and I'm not gonna change that tomorrow. So, and as we do not have more questions for hole number 6, RJ, I'm gonna let you start on another part 3 where I think we both, not a super favorite, but how do we play hole 7?
I got to say, I was, with a little bit of delay, it was funny because I was talking about hole 6, and then I look over and I see you dancing, even though you were talking. And you're a pretty good dancer, man. You do the robot very well. Guys, I lied. Okay, so I said hole number 5 was the easiest, and then we come to this one. Technically, this one might be a little bit easier, only because it's a lot easier to stay on the green without relying on hills and this, that, curl and everything else. Hole number 7, basically, if you have a sniper 6 or higher, or if not, use the Viper and a Quasar, you're looking at a 15% elevation difference. That's plus 15%. And really, it's a full left spin and 2 to 4 back spin. If any curl does end up being added, because the wind is usually in the same exact direction, I think of all holes to possibly get dialed in, this would be the one that I would be looking for. I think this is where you're going to land closest to the pin consistently.
I think honestly, like, why I have a negative way of looking at this hole, I think it's because in Tour 12, when I play this one so much, I think that's just because it's such an inconsistent type of bounce that gets us to the green, because we're playing it on according to the black line there. But yeah, that's a different story. If we play from second tee, first and foremost, we can play 2 ways. We can either use a wood club playing according to the black line, or we can play according to the white line using a driver. 15% extra, and I would suggest that you play with a ball that gives you a lot of side spin. So a side spin, like 2 or 3, I would say is going to be a must. When it comes to master, it's going to basically be the same type of play with one exception. It's like we're going to follow the black line with the wood club and with driver, so no matter what type of wind we're having. And the only thing that's going to separate in how we're playing it with what club is if we do have headwind, we play with a driver. If we do have a tailwind, we do play with a wood club. I do believe that now when there is a tournament, we are going to see some attempts using the rough bump. The rough that is on the left side of the bunker that you can see on the right, and trying to get that with a lot of top-spin to go directly towards the pin. It obviously depends on what type of wind you're having, if that's going to work. And there's always going to be there is also going to be attempts in Master Division that is going to be like maybe a rocket shot when it comes to headwind or something like that. So this one, honestly, it's going to be an interesting hole to see what type of route we're going to take. But it's not going to be a consistent hole in one, no matter what type of route you're taking. So the most important part, 15% extra, that is something that you will have to add. Okay, so we see here we do have playing the white line in rookie. RJ suggest a +3 or like at least 3 bars in backspin. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really play that way. I've seen this hole plenty of times. I really like well, I'm sorry, wait a minute. No, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm sorry, my mind's scrambled. Once my turn's over, it's like, oh, that hole's behind me. Yeah, you definitely are going to need, like, that was actually the route I was talking about with full left spin and 2 to 4 back spin to get you there. One thing that I see a lot of the better players doing, and that I like to try to mimic when I get the opportunity, is when you're putting your target and you're aiming for the hole, push your finger around in a little circle. Because if you ever have one of those spots where your ball guide's long, your ball guide's short, your ball guide's left, your ball guide's right, it's easier to find a flatter piece of fairway. Now, I'm not saying that flat piece of fairway exists on everything, but it's worth a shot on holes, on just about every hole you do. Tommy just said it's a very inconsistent green, so that might not be available here, but you might be able to find a better landing position than what you were using simply by just kind of swirling your finger in a circle with a target under it and paying attention to the ball guide.
Sand bump on this one, Archers. I would say I'm not gonna rule that one out, but I think that's going to be the last option to go with. I do think that the rough bump is going to be first. I have a slight memory of that there was players trying the rough bump the last time we had this one in the tournament. That was I think it was a fall major 2018, and I know my memory is super weird that I remember stuff like this, but I think there was players trying the rough bump, but there was an inconsistency with that as well in some form. I'm not. We'll see. We're gonna see. Michael Bolton, cheers, bro. Appreciate you being in here. We appreciate that everyone is here, taking the time or spending their Sunday here with us. I know it's a little bit special. We're talking. We're not playing anything, and I know for some that were maybe hoping for some gameplay, you're gonna have to wait until the tournament starts tomorrow. I'm super ready, after playing the last tournament really crap, not really feeling it, combined with having a lot of personal stuff that final weekend. Really looking forward to this one. I'm gonna be all relaxed, not gonna do much that weekend, and that really affects me. If I do have a bunch of stuff to do and I sleep bad and being up late, then I'm not gonna play well. That's just how it is. Okay.
Excuse me, I don't mean to challenge you, but didn't you get a -30 or better in every account?
Yeah, but no. I played.
No?
I played
Okay.
27, 29, and 30 in the weekend round, and that was a miscalculation. But it was kind of funny though. I played the 27. I played with live audience. That was strange. Super fun, but that was strange. And then the 29. I played as the first weekend round, and that one always goes like meh. And then the main account I played at 3 a.m. my time after been playing poker at the casino for 10 hours. So it was only 6 hours left, until the tournament stopped. So instead of going to bed and then play 3 hours later, I played it and went to bed 5 a.m. or something like that. I still made a -30, but I kind of almost fall asleep on 17 and lost a shot due to that. But it is what it is. Sometimes that happens, I guess.
We all feel very bad for you and all your first place medals. I must have been thinking 2 tournaments ago. I know you had every account over 30. I was like, jeez.
Yeah, this is absolutely by far. I came 8th with my main account. That's the worst position I've been getting. The last, I think, 10 or 12 tournaments, something like that. So it's still not bad, I've taken 8th place all, many days, but it was honestly not something that I was hoping for. I was hoping for more. So it's we have 2 more holes to go. Oh my god, we have been quick today, RJ. Holy cow. It's like we usually been close to midnight what we had done otherwise. But we feel so pumped already, wanted to be tournament.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hole 8, par 4, 496 yards. Interesting hole for rookie. How do we play this one?
All right. You get out your APOC 10 and you hit it as hard as you can, and you just aim for the back of the wall. It'll hit the rocks on the wall and go right in the hole. Or if you're like the rest of us, you could use your extra mile, adjust for 10%, quasar, full right spin, and 4 top spin. It's important not to go over 4 topspin, and if we have wind at our back, we might even have to take that down just a little bit, but I don't think we get winds high enough to where 4 topspin is going to be too dangerous. That'll get us up to that second box up there. Now, this is where things get really hard for rookies. I was going to say especially for rookies, but I feel like I could almost say only for rookies, and that is because you are going to need the Saturn or the Thorn. In most cases, I'm thinking the Saturn from the conversation we had prior to this, and it's very hard because there's a big slope where the green is leading to the rough. I'm sorry, where the green is leading to the pin. However, it's also almost like a turtle-shaped shell that the hole's on top of, so it's very easy for it to roll back. So we're not going for an eagle here because it's just too easy for that ball to either go into the sand with not enough backspin or for it to roll back down off of the green into the rough. What I would do, if you can, if your club has the distance and the backspin, is try to land it on the fringe or on the actual putting surface, which will have your ball going a little behind the flag, but then you could use full backspin if you do have at least 7 or 8 bars of backspin, I believe it is. Maybe 6 or 7. I'm not sure what the maximum is, but right around the maximum. And you should be able to sit on the green and get a nice, easy putt. If you don't have that much backspin, like true rookies might even be using a backbone, then you're going to have to take a super risky shot of actually aiming for the fairway, which is really slanted uphill at like a 45-degree angle, which is going to cause a really funky bounce for your ball. And I hope Tommy can get into that a little bit more than me, because that's something I avoid at all costs. I did talk with Tommy earlier about this. He may also cover the possibility of a rough bump if you have a club with the right wind and you have a club with enough topspin to get you up that hill. But very, very hard for rookie. That's all I got.
Yeah, and I will agree with that. I think this hole for rookie is way harder than it is for pro, expert, or master. So I think you explained it really well there. I'm gonna jump into pro and expert here and say that we are going to try to follow the black line if we can. Like if we do have some sort of tailwind, we're going to bounce over the water to either lay up before the rough or trying to get the ball to roll to the top right fairway. Why do I say try? It's because trying to get to the top right fairway is not just to get it there. It's that you will have to rely on a good piece of luck, because you're going to be able to, and once again, I've been playing this hole so many times in Tour 12 that there are 2 things that's going to happen if you're going to try to go to the top right fairway. It's either that the ball is going to get a very nice and smooth roll through the rough, or you're going to get a very dead bounce in the rough and you're going to get stuck in the rough. If you do not want to take that risk with tailwind, with the drive, or like not risk, but like chance, I would say more, then you're going to lay up according to the second black marker, and then we're gonna play with a long iron. The problem from that range is that you're not gonna have enough backspin with the Saturn or the Tsunami with a crosswind or a tailwind for the second shot. And I'm gonna come to why we're not gonna have a headwind for the second shot, because then we can't play the drive as we want to. So then we're gonna try the Goliath rough bump, because the Goliath has a lot of top spin. So it's going to be a very decent club to be able to use from that position for the second black marker. If we reach over to the top right, we take that route, everything goes as planned, then we play the second shot with the Thorn, as it has a lot of backspin. Max backspin, aim for the roll back. So you're not aiming for the dunk, you're aiming for the ball to go past the pin and then roll back. Why didn't I say that we could have a headwind for the second shot and if we play for the second black marker or the third black marker? It's because if we do have a headwind in the tournament, that means we have it for the drive. Then we will have to lay up according to the white box. Like we bounce on the white marker, then to roll to the front of the fairway, and from there we do have a rough bump with a wood club. So we cannot reach over the water from second tee or from third tee with headwind. So you need to please have that in mind, because I see so many trying to go all full blast, and I know for a fact you won't reach over. When it comes to master, it's going to be the same type of structure as it is for pro and expert. With any form of tailwind, we're gonna try to get the ball over, and we either gamble or we lay up. Headwind, we need to lay up and play the rough bump for wood club. I really do like this hole because it's a straight hole. Now I can work with the yardage notes. So for those of you going to have the updated text guides, here I will definitely be able to bring some yardage notes once I feel that I'm getting dialed in. 10% extra for the drive, 0 for the second shot, no matter where you end up. And I would say use a ball with at least power to distance. You know, you kind of need the distance and to be able to get the ball over the water. So yes, then we have that one. I see a question directly. Any offset for the thorn dunk? Unfortunately, archers, I won't be playing the thorn dunk myself. I think the rollback is going to be the play, because it's very easy for the pin to bounce you back there. Unfortunately, that's very common, trying to dunk on this hole. I don't know why, but it is very common, so I kind of took that idea away, because if you bounce on the pin there and try for the dunk, you're 100% going to be down in the sand. Yeah.
Even if you try for the dunk and don't hit the pin, let's say you just go to the left or right, I think there's a good chance that you still roll back off of the, back into the rough.
Yeah, definitely. You will need to offset that one good time. The good part with the rollback shot is like that's not gonna be a possible play in some form of headwind. We could otherwise be the most tricky wind, as once again with headwind we cannot reach over to the second fairway. So then with a tailwind and a crosswind, the rollback won't be that severe, so that's still gonna be good. Is rough bump possible for second shot on hole 8? Yes, Jason, it is. I think that's where we're going to land, honestly, in the end. Yes, there we do have it, and we do not for like we have one more hole left to go. So RJ, let's dig into hole number 9. I think you mentioned before that this was one of the greatest albatross attempts you have seen in a par 5 this year, right?
Oh, absolutely. You guys don't know how simple it is once you get it dialed in after seeing it 12 times in a row. All right. Personally, I've always played this with the white line, and I've always played it with 20%. And I always felt like something just wasn't right. And then Tommy said, it's 10%. Now remember, 10% uphill. So we're taking away rings on this shot. Extra mile will work. Big topper would definitely be recommended, but I know about half of the rookies out there, half of the true rookies might not have the big topper open. Still, if you don't, extra mile, full top spin, full right spin, and about a quarter ball of right curl. About the only thing that might scare me a little bit, and this is wind dependent, I ran into this problem last time I played this hole, is a lot of people ended up going into that little rough patch right, just north of Tommy's second white square box there. So if we get the right wind, or if we get the right distance or curl or whatever it is down pat, hopefully we can take that out of the equation, and that'll set us up for a, ready for this, 40% downhill shot. So we're adding 40% to our big dog shot. Bring the big dog, and you're going to be using about 2 to 4 top spin going to the pin to get that super easy albatross. You got to get the albatross, or you have no chance of making it to the opening round.
Yeah, take the eagle and run, guys. No, but really, when you play pro and expert and master, here's once again a course where the wind is going to be deciding which way we're gonna play. Any form of like more headwind than crosswind or tailwind, obviously, then we play according to the white line. max top spin, and we're going to go with, you know, you can use yourself, either it's right spin or left spin, it doesn't really matter. Play with whatever you feel comfortable with. The way we want to end up is to get the ball as far down as possible without not rolling into the rough to the right, which is very possible if you are playing too close. If we then for the second shot, 40% extra, as RJ already stated, so I'm gonna focus more according to the more on the black line. That's gonna be the crosswind and tailwind line, or if you have a minor headwind, I think you can still play according to the black line here, especially in Master. So the thing that we're gonna look for is that we're going to look for the white ring being put by the rough line to the left there. Sometimes you can play blue line. I used to like the white line there. I would like you to play with a lower level apocalypse, or obviously a high level apocalypse, due to the curl. We do want to have a lot of curl for the first shot. Power 3 ball, give ourselves the distance. 4 to 6 bars of top spin. If you have more, don't use more, because then you're gonna roll into the rough or into the sand on the right side. Bounce over using a 10% extra elevation. Second shot, we bounce over the bunker, aiming slightly to the left of the pin because the green slightly slopes to the right. And for the second shot, we're going to use an elevation that is going to be, and now I need to look so I write it correct, yes, 5% extra. If you do not have a lower level apocalypse, you can play this one forward from the second tee with a quarterback or a big topper. You might need some overpower though, if you're gonna do that. But the best suggestion would be the apocalypse even in a lower level, and then second option would be a quarterback, in my opinion. In Master, you will have to have an apocalypse here, because let's say you have a left to right type of wind, a Thor's hammer or an extra mile won't be giving you the curl that you do need. So there you have it, everybody. You know, all holes. And I would say, going over these holes, I've been working with the Textguides now during the week, and also, you know, some playthroughs and stuff now before the tournament. I do believe, honestly, I do believe there's going to be some high scores here. It obviously can depend on what wind that the game makers is giving us. I would say, let's say we do have a bunch of tailwind, we're gonna see a scoring pro and expert and master that needed to be a minimum minus 30 to win. That I'm totally sure. If we, let's say, have some sort of a headwind on hole 4, then that's gonna take away two must eagles, like for the front and back 9. And I think we're gonna be able to win the tournament on minus 27, 28. To be honest, that's a feeling I have. What do you think, RJ, yourself?
There's a lot of tricky holes here. There's also a lot of spots where I could see people making mistakes and getting pars. I don't know about winning it, because winning it obviously means you played perfect golf and got some drops. But I think that you'll probably be able to get into the weekend with, I'm going to guess, a minus 21 or minus 22. Depending on the winds, I may be taking a worst case scenario, but there's some eagle holes here that you're going to have to earn it, and there's really no drops on any of these par 3s. It's going to be tough. Yeah,
you know, honestly, it's going to be interesting. I think, like, if I take away rookie, not to forget about all of you guys that are playing rookie, but pro and expert and master, the hole number 4, this one here, is so dependent on what type of wind we're gonna have. A tailwind in some form is a must eagle, an absolute must eagle every single time. So I think you're right with that, RJ. You know, 21, 22. I think you're gonna be okay going to the weekend. Maybe in some brackets gonna be some minus 23s. That's gonna be the cutoff line. I don't know. Honestly, it's gonna be interesting so far. Not so far. It's gonna be interesting. I hate my English sometimes.
Your English is better than my Swedish.
That I hope. Otherwise, you have been hiding something for me, big time. Martin, cheers, buddy. Thank you so much. Marky Beaver, you're going to live stream for from a hotel south of Sweden this time again, Tommy? No, I won't, unfortunately. But I'm hopefully gonna do that more times. It was special, but it was incredibly fun. But I'm gonna stream from home I'm gonna stream from home. Karina, thank you so much for the kind words. JD, thank you so much for the kind words. Terry, Lyle, Team Trees, Chuck Jenkins, Arturs, Dechman, Neil, yes, and Nightbot. Thank you so much, everybody. RJ, how is the stream schedule? How does it look for you this week to come?
A little bit different. I do not have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so I should be on 7 o'clock every single day of the week. That's 7 p.m. United States, New York time. For those of you outside of the Eastern time zone or outside the United States, you don't know what to look up. So pretty consistent.
Yeah, nice. Nice. For me, I'm going live already at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. When the tournament starts, I'm gonna stream all the divisions. Hopefully we're not gonna have that severe lag that we had the last time. Then I'm gonna stream Tuesday. I'm going to most likely stream every day except for Saturday for the week to come. So we're gonna see. Look at my website golfclashtommy.com to see the schedule that I have. It's gonna be updated tomorrow morning as it turns when the time is turning over to Monday. Also, if you do want to get the updated text guides, I do believe I will be adding some yardage notes. I think we're gonna like hole 1, hole 2, hole 4, hole 5, hole 8 and 9. I think the updated text guides will be very lethal. The other 3 holes, I think there is definitely gonna be a way to get close to the pin, but hard to get any consistency on hole 3, 6 and 7. So sign up on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. So thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time from your Sunday and going over the text guides with us. And make sure that you send a comment in the comment section below. Fill in the contact form on the website if you do have any question, or hit ItsRJTV, I would say, up on Messenger. He will answer you there within the week at least. So that's good.
I try.
RJ, I'll leave it to you. How do we end it as normal?
Happy stroking.